Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cocktails and Rocktails with me, your most notorious groupie, Alison Rouse, author of We've Got Tonight, The Life and Times of Notorious Groupie, this chick. Somebody asked me where I got the name Notorious Groupie. It was because a long time ago after John passed away, there was a CBS radio stations, a few of them, all of them, that were affiliated, that are owned by CBS, that had put out a report when John passed away. Like I said, he died with Notorious Groupie Alison Rouse. And I thought, that's brilliant. So that's where that came from. I did not call myself Notorious Groupie. It was a radio report. And I just thought it was fucking awesome. Hilarious. So, because I'm sarcastic, tongue-in-cheek, that's where I got it. And these books as well, fun, sarcastic, tongue-in-cheek, but so true. All at the same time. And thank you guys as always for all the love and support, especially like I said, with my father having passed away, my birthday, everything, all of your wishes, all of your condolences, all of your heart and soul really helped me make it through such a horribly rough time. You guys, I can't even tell you what it truly means to me. Humbly, thank you. Thank you for being such an amazing community and little family we have here. You guys fucking rock. And speaking of fucking rocks, you want to talk about what really rocked? Started back in the 90s? Lallapalooza. And you guys, it was a whole different vibe back then that you are not going to have these days. I'm telling you. And what I'm having, so we're going to read a little bit about Lollapalooza. Here's the pass right there. Pretty awesome time. Not my only Lollapalooza, but the only pass because I had, about 7 years ago, I had my storage unit broken into, and a lot of boxes with more passes and stuff were stolen, so don't have it. I only have about maybe a third, half of the passes that I actually did have. So, but this is one of the Lollapaloozas I hung out at. It is going to be June of, I don't know, 93. Look at the pass. What fucking year am I in? Anyway, I don't know. I left the numbers out of the book, the page numbers, because you never know where you are in rock and roll, so you might as well get that feeling while reading my book. But okay, so we're going to have a little bit of local yum-yums. This little epic tropical IPA. So deliciousness, you guys. They are local to us here in Salt Lake City and in Denver. They have brew houses there. Really love these guys. They make a killer stout that they have made different, like coffee stout, like vanilla bourbon, like pecan pie. They make a yearly pumpkin stout. Just really fucking amazing brews. And I'm not the biggest IPA fan, but this one, they're tropical, really good because it's not too hoppy, has a really great hint of sour. So everybody grab your hops, kick up your feet, let's have a little cocktails and rocktails. Cheers. Oh, not that time yet. All right. Cheers, big ears. Perfect head. Like I give. Delish. So much better than Kipwinger. But you know what? Kipwinger was definitely more sour than that. Oh, God. All right, guys. Let's get into story time, okay? Romper, stomper, bumper, boo. Gen X, you'll know what that means. Okay, so I don't know where to put. Gotta move my new microphone. There we go. Okay, so we are going to talk about June of 93, Lollapalooza. So with the summer heat, whoops. All right. I got to get myself cut. There we go. With the summer heat came the annoyance of outdoor venues. I say annoyance because they are always hot, crowd-filled, and muddy with piss mud. Not just any regular, it's beer, it's piss, it's body sweat, it's shit. This is why I don't stand in the front of the stage, especially at outdoor venues. I hate it. I try to stand in the buses and far away from any ground near the porta potties. But for Lollapalooza, us ladies would brave it. Danny, Marie, Andy, and I went without securing our guest list positions the night before. We ran it. Oh, I know who Andy is. That was another. Never. Anyway. went about securing our guest list positions the night before. We ran into the guys from this new band called Tool. They were second stage at Lollapalooza this year. We hit it off with them pretty much immediately. They were headlining the second stage of the massive tour and spouting the new wave of metal meets industrial. Mike Inez, the new bassist for Alice in Chains, this is before I introduced him to Andrea backstage at Pantera. Mike Inez, the new bassist for Alice in Chains, met up with us at the hotel bar before we all decided to go across the street to Club Deviate. This is in Salt Lake City, by the way. Because I know I talk about Salt Lake City having an awesome music scene, awesome crowds, a lot of the videos. Doesn't mean that that's the only city in the world for that. So Germany, calm down. Okay. You probably have an awesome scene too. But Salt Lake City just consistently for 40 years has had an amazing one as well. All right. So they were headlining before we headed to Deviate. They had a dance contest they had a dance night, and tonight, lucky for us, they were having a dance contest. Just what our drunk asses needed. The tall guy from Tool, I wasn't sleeping with him, I don't have to know his fucking name, took our drink orders as the rest of us filtered onto the dance floor. We mingled into couples until we found a dance partner that fit our style. Now, believe it or not, mini rockers cannot dance. But running and swish... Oh, I know. You see them running across the stage, strutting their stuff for the crowd. But running and swishing from side to side is not dancing. So I ended up with the one guy that could dance and hold my drink at the same time. And he was their roadie named Gorky. On the dance floor, we ended up together. Not off. He and I tore that dance floor a new asshole. As others were asked to leave until it was down to he and I and 3 other couples. Looks like the stripper and the roadie were the shoe-in for the win. This is what was until, for some reason, I took off Gorky's belt and turned to grab a hold of the iron bars that sat on the end of the dance floor. Gorky grinded up behind me club kid style and spun me around where I promptly threw that leather belt around his neck. We were dancing so great, we could have been the American Bandstand Spotlight couple. We could have been the kings and queen of the Soul Train. No, we couldn't have. Or so the rest of the normal rock and rollers thought. Not so much the club judges, though. We were asked to leave the dance floor for being too suggestive and offending the crowd. Offending the crowd? Half the crowd was the Lolla tour and the other half were mouth-breathing posers. Well, if we were going to leave, then so we would better have... if we were going to leave, then so would the better half of the crowd who actually had money to spend at the bar. Cheers to that. Thank God for those rock and roll daily per diems, because let me tell you, they paid a lot of bar bills back then. We went back to the safety of the hotel bar where no one minded that we all laughed and danced and talked dirty until we were too drunk to know what we were saying. I went home alone that night, which meant I was open game for anyone the next day and anything. So, the next day, we all somehow ended up on Alice in Chains' tour bus. Marie wanted Jerry Cantrell. Until he walked onto the bus with some drunk, trashy girl in a sideways bikini top. It was your typical, but she was drunk. And the bikini top knew it. It did. She was so wasted she didn't even know her tits were out. Perfect kind of girl for Jerry at the moment. He could shove his down her throat, Kip Winger on her chest, and send her through to the walk of shame. And that is exactly what happened. How do I know about the first part? Well, this is why you don't do back lounges, ladies. About to find out. Mike Inez, being the crafty guy he is, knew there was about a 1-inch gap at the top of the back lounge door. He had a little handheld mirror that he could spy on, one of those little round ones, that he could spy on certain private activities with. Blink, blink. I had to think about if there were any gaps above any bus doors I had been on. Meh, too late now. This won't do it again. I wanted to see drunk girl get humiliated by a man that I knew would, in the next couple of years, poop on some desperate girl I knew in Seattle. There's the video about it. Go down. Scroll, guys. It's worth it. It's got Spud from Train Spotting on the thumbnail. Okay. Where are we? Anything he did to back lounge Betty was not going to be fun for her, but should be for us. Don't take this wrong. Spur of the moment. Like I say, when I write about what I was thinking in that moment in time. It's not necessarily what I would do now. Just a disclaimer. Okay. Mike and Lane and his babysitter hired to help keep Lane off heroin for the tour had told us that when Jerry had one of those kinds of girls, he didn't like her to stay around afterwards, so we should walk of shame her mercy unabashedly. She came out all smiles and still crooked, thinking she was part of our crowd. No, darling, we were groupies. You were a back lounge Betty. Big difference. I do talk about that. Again, not to be, these are things I learned from the rock stars and their perspectives at the time. Not necessarily what I think now. She was laughing. Oh, we didn't go to shows in bikini tops, let alone wonky ones. She was laughing and immediately trying to cover her shame by saying nothing happened back there. He tried, but I didn't let him. What, didn't let him on your face? Or dripped down? Okay. She said, so she was laughing and immediately trying to cover her shame by saying nothing happened back there. They just smoked. No, we just smoked. You swallowed a dick, someone said out loud. Oh, that's right. I don't know who said that, but between the laughters and the word nappy coming out, and as Miss Coors Light International wandered off the bus, and so did Lane's babysitter. Somehow the tour manager latched on me to do the job. I wasn't with Lane. I wasn't sleeping with him. The rule is, if you sleep with the rocker, you take care of him. I didn't sleep with Lane. I wanted to sleep with someone else. Not Lane. I don't know who, but not Lane. I was stuck, though, since Lane was now asking me to come with him for a withdrawal panic attack moment. In the bus hallway. He was sitting there in the bus hallway, kind of fetal position, but sitting upright. I'm like, dude, get off that nasty floor. You don't know what we know what's been Jerry's on this floor. Well, no, most of it didn't hit the floor. Anyway, so yeah, he was having a little panic attack. I grabbed a wet paper towel for the back of his neck and rolled my eyes all the way down the hallway and to the singer's side. The shit I'd have to do for rock and roll. Like miss out on drinks and Tool. Oh, it was the bass player of Tool, the tall guy. I wanted him. I had decided that day anyway. I wasn't going to miss out on Tool. I had never even heard the band before and was curious. Fuck it. I left the tour manager in his charge on the bus and made my way to the second stage. And I'm so glad I did it. Tool was amazing. And I was hooked until he became a parody of himself. But I tend to lose interest right about then with most bands. So by the time July rolled around, I had typically moved on to more mayhem than most groupies could ever get away with. So July, Stone Temple Pilots, Axl Rose, Zakk Wylde, Izzy Stradlin. We'll talk more about that later. I know today's short and sweet, you guys. But I wanted you guys to hear the little Lollapalooza story, because I do have the pass up on my TikTok and stuff, so you guys find me on TikTok. I know I'm not really active on social media lately because, like I said, with my father passing, he was in hospice in the hospital for sepsis, had to get surgery on his foot, you know, work, everything. It's a lot. So sometimes I don't have, I forgot where this train of thought was going. I should have smoked so much weed. And this is a big beer. All right, but yeah, it's just a little short and sweet today. Because Lollapalooza, like I said, let me describe Lollapalooza at the time. This was still when the road, people still connected in real life. Not with some fantasy 90-day fiance bullshit, online. People actually connected by feeling the vibe between the human beings and feeling the vibe of the concert. Think about how crazy a concert feels and everybody singing and vibing, dancing, hopping around from the front of the stage to the dressing rooms. Every inch of that arena feels the vibe of the music when it's going, even in between when the road crew is setting up and tearing down. We all feel that vibe like it was summer all the time, like we were just getting out of high school. That butterflies and everything the music brings, that's Lollapalooza at the time. And plus there was a lot, especially on that second stage, there were a hell of bands. I don't even remember who was on, just remember Tool, Alice in Chains, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Tool. Oh yeah, I was thinking about Anthony Kiedis that day too. He's a little too short. And his tube sock wasn't big enough for my taste. But, and like I said, it wasn't like corporate sellout that most tours are these days. U2 wasn't building their stages. It was still this really cool little rock and roll family. And it was this cool vibe of letting strangers in or seeing, finding those people that you can see on the road again and again and again and vibe with. And being free-spirited to a point where most people don't understand. Obviously, because we got kicked out of the fucking dance contest, which Gorky and I would have won. We should have won. Gorky, if you're watching this, we should have goddamn won. Because we danced damn good. And as a stripper, I hate to tell you, I cannot get on dance floors without looking for a pole. That's just the way it is. There's always has to be a pole involved because now it's just habit. So if there's a good rock star, if it's big enough, I can grab that pole. No, I'm kidding. Not kidding. Anyway. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that little... And this could be kind of a cautionary story because you've all heard the, Seattle story of Jerry Cantrell and Jenna. He treated this woman just the same from the front end, not the back. So if you're thinking about Jerry Cantrell, ladies, think twice. This is a cautionary tale, okay? All right, guys. So I'm ending that cautionary tale there. We'll get more into 93. That was a pretty fun year. I had a good time. There's a lot of tours. And like I said, Salt Lake City is still to this day, was then to this day, a big hub for a lot of concerts because we have killer crowds. We have killer music scene. There's a lot of bands that cross paths with each other here. Like when I was hanging out with Oris and Nickelback, Megadeth was in town the same time, and that's when I went to this one. Oh yeah, there's more of these to come. So that was in the early 2000s. Whoops. That was in the early 2000s. So it was really cool that Nickelback was hanging backstage with Megadeth, and Dave Mustaine was like, oh, let's throw a little after party. I haven't seen you for a while. So he hung out. We smoked a lot of weed. This is before his throat. So, but yeah, so Salt Lake City had a killer scene, and this Lollapalooza was just off the hook because I always loved it because you could hear these new obscure bands, and definitely the hit of that fucking Lollapalooza, Tool, all the way. They should have been on that main stage, and they eventually were. So, all right, guys, hope you enjoyed today's little ditty. I know it's quick, it's fast, but so some really awesome sex. But not for Miss Coors Light International. All right. For you lurkers, for you guys just discovering the channel, go down, hit that like, hit the share, get a membership, because you guys, like I said with the Patreon, everybody, start moving your memberships over here because I just want it in one place. I've got lives that I'm going to do for members only. I've got giveaways for members only. My own personal copy of my hard copy is going to be part of that. So let's start bringing our Patreon memberships over to here. Anybody else who wants to join the memberships? So you guys know, this is the advertisement part. So everybody, go down, hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe, and you know how to hit my bells. We'll see you next time here on Cocktails and Rocktails. Cheers, big ears.